Welcome to the Wellness Superheroes. We are your hosts. I'm Annie.
And I'm Jodi.
And this week we have another guest with us, a very dear guest to me, someone who played a big role in my nursing education. Her name is Kerrie Gleeson. She has a 40-year nursing career behind her and a wealth of wisdom and knowledge. I was her student back in 2013 to 2015, and we reconnected at an open house meeting for the Australian healthcare professionals in December, where she presented on EMFs and frequency medicine. Kerrie is a beacon of critical thinking, common sense, and she taught these qualities to her students and the importance of patient advocacy. All are sorely lacking in the current healthcare system today. So without further ado, we will bring on our guest, Kerrie, Kez Legend. We will refer to her as in this episode because she is a freaking legend. Welcome, Kerrie.
G'day, guys. And hi, Annie. Lovely to see you again, babe. And hi, Jodi. I feel very honoured, Annie, to reverse the roles here.
Well, I hope I don't let you down.
No, mate, you could never let me down.
Oh, all good. So, Kez, tell us a bit about your nursing career and how it led you to leave the profession. 40 years. That's
it's hard to believe, 40-year nursing career. And I didn't want to leave because at the time I did love it. I trained, as I always tell my students back in the day, with Jesus. I'm a hospital-trained nurse, trained in Melbourne, Australia. And I trained at a hospital when I was very young, 18 years of age, had no idea what I was doing. And that's probably a good idea because we had no idea what we were getting into. And we were all in uniform. We lived at the nurse's home and we were trained to be little human doings, obeying and doing. And I did that and went on and did my further studies in training and development, intensive care, advanced nursing, and then became nurse unit manager for 2 wards, one in a public hospital, one in a private hospital, where I was running wards of 31 patients each. And I had a fantastic staff. I was very mindful of the staff that I had and the care and the privilege it took to actually care for these vulnerable people. And then basically I got into intensive care because you can't get more intensive or sicker than intensive care. And I was there for 14 years, Annie and Jodi, and loved it, but also started to see some big cracks in the walls with our care. And at the same time, I was a nurse educator. So I was trying to teach what I was seeing, if you know what I mean. And my students were often wanting to know just what's on the exam. What's on the exam, Kez? What's on the exam? And I had to keep reminding them that no patient or client has ever asked me what I got for my anatomy and physiology exam. They didn't give a stuff. They actually wanted to know how much I cared. And I kept saying that to my students, no one cares how much you know, mate, until they know how much you care. And the caring started to leave. The patients started to be becoming numbers, numbers, diagnoses. And I found that we were getting younger people in, sicker quicker. Like in ICU, I wasn't used to seeing people in their 20s, 30s and 40s coming in sick. I'm waiting, I was used to seeing older people, and I know that, I'm old anyway, but when you see young people whose immune systems are not kicking in, when you see young people who are dying from things that I would not expect, this then led me down a path. This isn't genetics. Genetics loads the gun, the environment pulls the trigger. What is going on in the environment that is making these people so sick? And I started asking these questions probably about 7 years ago, because all I could see I was doing in ICU was shift after shift. I'm seeing this beautiful individual in a bed on life support with a devastated family. Everyone's throwing their hands up in the air going, like, what's happened here? And they weren't responding to our treatments. They were just, it was stunning me. And I'm thinking, what? I need to look further. This is not good. And so I chose not to accept that was just bad luck, because it wasn't. And I started to do some study in energy medicine, believe it or not, because we didn't learn about that in our nursing, did we, Annie? We learned about cells, tissues. We learned about physical structures. And when I started to do some energy medicine research, especially in relation to electromagnetic fields, it blew my mind. And I thought, oh, well, shit, Kez, back to school. So I vowed I'd never do any more study, but Jesus, we all have to study all our lives. So I bloody well did a grad dip in bioresonance energy medicine and realised I needed some prac on that. But do you reckon I could get that in Australia or in Melbourne? No. So, of course, I had to go to Athens. Guess what? I had to go to Athens. This stuff's in Russian hospitals. This stuff's in German hospitals. Yeah. Hello. What's happening in Australia? So when I went over to Athens and did this training, I met some other practitioners from other countries who actually had a very dim view on the healthcare system in Australia, which is quite interesting. And basically, because I'm thinking I'm an ICU nurse, I know it all, I realised I knew jack shit. So I actually had to do the bit of humble curve and go back to basics. I was sick of dragging people out of the river only to have another person replace that bed. And I thought, you know what? We have not given enough attention to prevention.
Yeah.
Why don't I go upstream and find out why the hell these people are getting sick? Because when you're in ICU, it can be a little bit too late. And if we could prevent this, then people don't need to get sick. Look, guys, hospitals aren't bad. Nurses and doctors aren't bad people, but the system is sick.
Yeah.
It's all about sick care, fighting disease. These are not health promoting words.
No.
And I noticed it's kind of bizarre. When I came back from Athens, I started getting all of this rapid heart rate in ICU. And I'm going, what's going on here? Like, hello, no. And when I bought some electromagnetic field protective scrubs, that all stopped. This further heightened my suspicion that perhaps we as healthcare workers possibly could be being exposed in our work environments, as I think everybody is. It's not just the healthcare workers, it's all those people who work in, IT and everything that we think is just a wonderful device for use. We've kind of just embraced this without really thinking about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so basically I thought, well, is there any way we can use this technology to help us as well? And that's when I discovered bioresonance. So the bioresonance frequency medicine, energy medicine, heals. And there are certain electromagnetic fields that we expose ourselves to that are incredibly harmful. And if we don't figure this out and stop looking for the pill that causes everything, people are just basically, for me, I'm seeing a lot of people, I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing a lot of people living very short and dying very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on medications, they're sick, they're walking around like old people, feeling old way before their time and never reaching their full potential. And you know what? That's not what we are here for. Yeah, we're here to live long, die short. And I think a lot of it's been put down, I've got bad genes, I've got this, I've got that, this victim mentality. Unfortunately, we are responsible for that, us wonderful medical community. We need to give people back that ability to realise that they are actually in charge, not us.
Yeah. Yeah, patient autonomy, right? Patient advocacy, like I mentioned before.
Absolutely. Don't laugh at these people and say we know better. Don't denigrate them. And the biggest thing I found we weren't doing was not listening.
Yeah.
We thought we knew it all. We would interview these people on admission and very quickly intervene because we basically wanted the cake, not the recipe, but it's often the recipe. It's the space between the words with people that you get your answers. And if you don't allow them to do that, if they feel unheard, if they feel uncared for, you've lost them.
Yeah, well. So did you kind of come to this crux during COVID, before COVID? Like, how did you discover what?
It was BC, babe. It was before COVID. And it was around about 2016. I just started to think what I was doing in nursing in some cases wasn't helping. And having been a charge nurse, I had witnessed some very unfortunate incidences in the hospitals that had resulted in patient harm and even patient death that I thought were, let's say, covered up. And despite trying to report these things, and I started thinking, hang on a minute, how is that the case? What is going on here? And it started to feel like the medical establishment was literally untouchable. And of course, during COVID, with the cruelty of the visiting hours, now you had one hour, in ICU, a poor, vulnerable person, as we know, Annie. It's not the bells and whistles and technology and all of the, the machines that go ping that save someone. It's got nothing to do with that. Nurses don't save people. Doctors don't save people. We might help, but it's love.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Love. Yeah, it's love.
And
it's
touch,
the love.
and human touch. Human touch.
Absolutely, Jodi. So, you need that human touch. You need that sound. You need those sensory inputs from loved ones that connects that individual to living, and if you take that away from these people, then you take away a huge reason for them to continue living in an environment that's so hostile, lights, noise, sound, artificial, and also in an environment where you can't actually see what's going on now with your loved one because you can't get in there. Yeah.
Right.
So do you know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that, but it just felt to me like, what are we hiding here? We need these families here. We need them here. What are we putting time limits on them for? How is this helping anyone? Why is it that COVID has suddenly become the major illness of the world, yet I'm seeing people die of ruptured hearts, not COVID, mate, of ruptured bowels, of brain bleeds. In actual fact, the greatest disease I saw was loneliness and despair. And I saw families devastated. It broke my heart. And I found that the hardest part is coming home and going, oh my God, what are we doing? Doesn't make sense to me. And this was before all the vaccines came in, because I worked right through the period prior to the vaccinations. And my colleagues and I were sweating under all of this PPE. We were wearing all of these masks. These poor people were being nursed by, I believe, robots. We were all in all of this gear. It was such a hostile environment. Nurses were getting dehydrated. I got kidney stones and ended up in freaking hospital having to have those removed because we weren't drinking. Yeah, we weren't drinking, and it created a terrible sense of fear. I'd be transferring a patient out of ICU, let's say with let's say golden staph infection, for example, which is contact precautions, Jodi. So you need to wear all of this gear, and they go into a specific room so they don't spread this bacterial infection. But all the nurses, for the first time in my life, literally as soon as they saw that poor patient with a mask on and all the contact, they would line up against the wall and all going, is it COVID? Is it COVID? And like, what the hell, mate? Sorry, but this poor, I'd say to the patient, I'm so sorry. No, it's not COVID, guys. Hello, degree in common sense. Where's that? You didn't get it in uni, did you? And it started to get, I used to get a bit peeved because we started to focus on one thing only, and families and loved ones were getting angry. Violence was increasing. Nerves were frayed. Nurses were terrified. Doctors were terrified. It was unnecessary fear.
Wow. Mate, I didn't work through any of that, and thank goodness. I was taken out the game in January of 2020, but I could feel that, all that tension, things, just more red tape, more hoops to jump through. And it was like, what about the patient?
Yeah, mate.
My last facility I worked at, they the owners sold to someone else, sold the facility to someone else, and the residents didn't get a say.
Yeah,
and
this is their home.
Don't you feel used and abused? Because you're a commodity. They've just sold you on to the highest bidder because they decided this is too hard and jump ship. So it's I shake my head and I can't. It makes me really sad when I think about the healthcare system as it is today.
Oh, and you know, I have absolute respect for aged care workers. You know, I am an ICU nurse, and those girls and guys, they do it so tough in there, and those rehab units, they often don't get the respect they deserve, the home care workers, and you know, they are working their butts off, and to have to Skype or Zoom people to say their loved one has died. Yeah.
Oh, I know. It was devastating.
Where does that fit in on the human scale?
Yeah.
And so I was starting to feel very, very disillusioned.
Yeah.
And yet I was still educating. I was still, and I was saying to my nursing students, please don't get caught up in this fear. I was actually encouraging them to remove their masks in my class because, one, they don't work, they're bullshit. And I was refusing to wear a mask, which caused a bit of an issue at the facility where I was teaching. And, I got reported to the CEO and all of that stuff. And, you know, it was the teachers that turned on me, not the students. I love my students. They would be running down the corridor going, Kez, we reckon you're in trouble. And I'd say, don't worry, guys. It's my stuff, not yours. You know, and I used to write up on my whiteboard because I didn't do reading to students because they're far too intelligent for that. I'm not paid to read to them. But I would write up on the board, courage or comfort. Some days we need courage. Some days we need comfort to dive into that doona and just hide away from the world because it's giving you the shits, and that's okay. But nothing extraordinary ever comes from your comfort zone.
No.
And I used to say to my students, sometimes you've got to get out under that doona and you've got to step over that line in the courage, and you have to speak up to a senior nurse or a senior doctor. And to do that, you need confidence and you need knowledge. You need not just knowledge, but to use that knowledge. So to do that takes guts and assertive skills. And so I had to do that myself when the vaccinations were starting to be mandated. And I just thought, well, wow, I've had a 40-year nursing career. Surely not. But surely yes. And no one's immune. And so I had to make the decision. I was working at 2 intensive care units at the time and as a nurse educator, and I lost all 3 jobs. Finally, on my birthday, on the 2nd December, 2021. Wow. Best birthday gift I ever had, actually, mate. I'm actually, in hindsight, very grateful.
Oh, well, all things work out well, don't they?
Hey, mate, I'll tell you now, if I had to do it again, I'd do it 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
You know, and I did warn my students. I said, listen, guys, I have to teach with integrity. I'm teaching you about law and ethics and consent.
Yeah.
And everything about this is making me feel sick. Yeah. And also 2 of my students at the time had developed myocarditis after an injection, and that devastated me. And I was clashing then with, or not clashing, having discussions with HR about the legality of this and not getting answers. And when I have HR people, and look, with all due respect, who've got no medical knowledge, trying to teach me medical knowledge, I have an issue there because they were reading from a script. And I noticed that, and I thought, hang on, this, you know, when you can't polish a turd, guys.
Yeah.
When it doesn't, you know, I always say, when it doesn't pass the sniff test, you know, Annie, when you walk into a 4-bed, you know, don't you? It doesn't pass the sniff test, you know, oh, there's an issue here. We've got to clean this person up stat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what I started to feel. This was very bizarre because I'd worked being older than Jesus and older than dirt. I'd worked through HIV. I'd worked through SARS. I'd worked through MERS. I'd worked through all of the other pandemic, end of the world, catastrophic, sky is falling crap.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And now here comes this other new whiz-bang feature that we are going over we had never done this. We had never isolated loved ones like this. We had never allowed people to die on their own. I had never before in my life had to say to a man on the phone, because I couldn't give the phone to his wife, he's telling you you're the love of his life. And for her to say, please tell him he's the love of mine. I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. They should be doing that. Sitting next to each other, holding hands, because they have spent 62 years together. And now he dies without her there. There is nothing right about that scenario. And that was the day I had to walk out.
Yep. Well, kudos to you, mate. Far out.
Yeah, on you.
A lot of us have done it, but Annie, you're right. A lot of us have not, and that's their choice and their reason. And there's no judgment here, man. No judgment.
No. Well, people do what they got to do, I guess. And
exactly.
Fear, we've established that fear has been the strong motivator.
Correct. There's enough judgment in this world. There's enough judgment in this world, and I choose not to get involved. I realise I've got to let go of that, because you can't move forward when you're angry, when you're frustrated. You know, you've got to actually, that's not what we're here for. That's a low frequency state.
Yeah.
And we're not here to be in a low frequency state. Misery loves company. And I don't wish to attract, low frequency individuals. I don't want followers. There's enough followers. I want leaders. I want people to walk arm in arm, and just let's walk together and encourage each other. We don't need these leaders going out there that people all adhere to, because I feel like that's part of the old system, and some people are still trying to recreate what I believe is the old system. Just my opinion. And I think we've all got gifts. You know, the cleaners are amazing in hospitals. I love them. Everybody. So the mums, the dads that live life by the nanosecond, you are so important. The people who were non-medical backgrounds who chose not to take this had my utmost respect, because they knew, they followed their heart, not their head. They knew intuitively something was wrong. You know what? Those people are my heroes. Those people are my heroes, because this has caused devastation in relationships and families, and the damage and destruction this has caused on emotional level and physical level has been devastating. Unbelievable. And it continues to this day. This 2 weeks to flatten the curves turned into 3 years.
Well, those of us who saw the writing on the wall, though, knew that that was just a line until people forgot, right?
And we all realised very quickly this was far more about control and surveillance than anything else.
So on that note, then, you mentioned low frequency states. What is frequency medicine in your understanding?
Well, mate, I tell you now, I wish I had invented it, but I didn't. It's been around forever. We've grown up in an electromagnetic field. So frequency in itself can be natural or man-made. And the natural DC or direct current field of the earth, we're surrounded by that. You know, the cosmos, the sun, the earth, Mother Earth is negative, sun is positive. This has been around since we've been around. Now, we have over time become supposedly something called civilized, and that started with the invention of electricity in the late 1800s. However, a lot of people had known about this before then, but it wasn't really until then that we started developing electrical lights, street lamps, and a couple of blokes called Nikola Tesla, one being my hero. He actually is a huge hero of mine and received far less kudos than Einstein's. These guys were around about the same time, but both are geniuses, definitely. But Tesla was really amazing. He invented AC, or alternating current energy, which was in the end adopted by the world because of its efficiency and ability to transmit this power long distances without having to have more towers, whereas direct current required a lot more, I guess, infrastructure. So long story short, AC, or alternating current, is not natural in nature. It's man-made. And this was invented and really was the holy grail, because now we could light up our streets. Now we could have lights in homes. Before this, we would get up with the sun, go to bed when the sun went down. We had basically day-night. And now we could have lights in the evening, and we could have lights wherever. We could have, world fairs. We could now electrify the world with trains and all of this stuff that happened. And no one really knows a lot about this, but it wasn't too long afterwards that some people who worked, especially in telephony, the operators, they started to get sick. And they started to experience symptoms of fatigue and illness. And you know what? Flu-like symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Yep.
And they started to get coughs and colds and rashes. And basically, this was actually studied. The soldiers, because, in the military, radar was invented. And this was, in the 1940s, 50s. And a lot of the military were now being exposed to radar technology. So with each, we basically were upgrading this wonderful technology, this radio frequency, and the exposure levels were higher and were becoming more prolonged because it was starting to expand everywhere. And these military soldiers were starting also to get side effects, cardiac dysrhythmias or abnormal heart rate, fatigue, and they were often denigrated for being called cowards, weak.
Wow.
Now, the Russians were also studying this at the same time because they were seeing it as well. But they took it seriously. And they actually gave it a term, something I think was neurasthenia. So this term neuro, they thought it was a nerve issue. They were right. And they actually really did believe it was due to exposure to these fields. They believed that. Now, the West also started researching this. And because, of course, when you've got military and you've got electronics now, and you can use these electronics to target your enemy, etc., for submarines, you don't want to have to stop that because it might be a little bit harmful to a person here or there. When you've got vested interests. So a fellow, you might have heard of him, Sigmund Freud.
Mm-hmm.
He basically got involved in this and said, oh, no, this is not a physical thing. This is psychological, and this is actually anxiety. So these symptoms being experienced by people over in the West was basically called a neuroses, yes, psychosomatic, neurotic. These people are neurotic. They need to be admitted. Whereas does this make sense? But in Russia, these people were being told, well, actually, you need to get away from that because we think it's all of this electronics that you're being exposed to. Wow. And so it's really amazing because I didn't know this, and I didn't know this, Jodi. I had no idea. And then, what? They knew it. And so the West, because it was given down to a psychological issue, we just went ahead with expansion, didn't we? So then along come the big brick phones, and then the 1G, the first generation, then 2G, 3G, 4G. And basically what you've got now are homes that are wired electrically, that whenever you have electricity running, you have a magnetic field.
Yep.
Now, these are low frequencies, and we've all thought that they are safe because they're low frequencies. Well, that's turned out to be bullshit, excuse the French. We also know, because often people are more afraid of the cell towers and the higher frequencies, you've got to take into account all of them. Yep. The higher frequencies that we're all talking about are the radio frequencies. The frequencies in Australia for electrical wiring is 50 hertz. In the US, it's 60. It's called extremely low frequency. And it's been told, it doesn't hurt you, mate. It doesn't hurt you. Yeah, whatever. Okay, we now know to question everything.
Yeah.
Just like smoking doesn't hurt you. Yeah? Okay. You know that nurses used to be trained to light doctors' cigarettes as they came on the ward. Times have changed. Anyway, so with the radio frequencies, we're now looking at people using their wireless computers and all of their gadgets that they wear in their ears and on their body because they've got to track how freaking awesome they are. And we were told that these don't harm you either. Trust us because we know that they only harm you if they heat you up. Well, bullshit. Okay. So the exposure standards are based on heating of tissue. Can I just say something right here, right now? And I'm going to tell you something for nothing.
Oh.
By the time that freaking foam is heating up in your hand against your head, you have been microwave, baby. Okay? So the non-thermal effects, which are 1,000 times lower in frequency, 1,000 times lower in our exposure standards, are actually quite damaging. And the issue is it's kind of got an accumulative effect, yeah? So the more you use it, the more potential there is for damage to occur. Now, I didn't start using any of this crap until I was a bit later in life, say about 900 years old, yeah? So I'm doing all right. But when you've got your young little flippers now, because I haven't had kids, you know, Annie, I'm allergic. But when you have got little flippers, their mums are pregnant, their mums won't eat eggs, they won't take alcohol, and they won't smoke. But those mums have no idea, because if you don't know, you don't know. They've got their mobile phones on their abdo, texting their mates. They've got their laptops sitting on their belly. Remember, Bubba is that little flipper surrounded in water. And, you know, in case anyone's wondering, we've got a hell of a lot of water in our body, which is electromagnetic, people.
Yep.
So it's picking up all of that radiation. So little flippers being bombarded. Why do you think in China, when they had the one-child policy way back, all Chinese women who became pregnant were issued a pregnancy blanket to block Wi-Fi and to block electromagnetic fields?
Wow.
Why do you think that? So the best thing any of you pregnant women can do, or for anybody planning on getting pregnant, is to buy your mate a pregnancy blanket which blocks your belly from stray electromagnetic fields, which helps your little flipper. Why do you think I wore an EMF protective scrubs to protect my heart, my abdomen, my lungs? Why do you think we have people, mate, with heart, brain, lung, and abdo conditions?
Wow.
It's not just radio frequency, guys. We know there's a lot of crap out there. But the body gets to a point where it says, you know what, mate, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. I am done with you. You're a dickhead. You put too much shit into you. Yeah. And now you're going around with these freaking little freaking AirPods between your freaking ears looking cool, but you're you're a dickhead. Yep, sorry. And then you're holding your phone in your hand because you think it's cool, but it's not, because you're being radiated right up your arm. So I'm seeing women getting breast cancer in the same side they hold their phone. There's been explosive increase in tumours. And we know that there's some nasty brain tumours out there. They are nasty little buggers, which actually grow quite rapidly in the presence of radio frequencies, which happens to be a cell phone, guys. Yep. All right.
Wow.
And this is a real concern for me. Parotid tumours, which is a gland in the side of the face, thyroid cancers. These are things we are starting, and neurosurgeons are starting to see on a huge scale, and they are starting to report about this. So it really begs the question, what's going on, and why are our exposure standards so extremely high and related to heating of tissue, when now we have a phenomenal amount of research done by people far cleverer than me that categorically demonstrates biological damage at far lower levels of exposure.
Wow. Gee. So, you know, I was always kind of wary of the microwave, being that
mate. And
Nazi
the
Germans
Russians
invented
banned the
it.
microwave. It was
Did
called
they
a
really?
radar. Yeah, it was called a radar oven or radar wave in the early days in Russia. They actually banned it because of its radiation, but then reintroduced it under, I think, pressure of industry, and called it the microwave, because no one wanted to buy a radar wave because they were scared of radar.
Wow.
So the microwave emits 2.4 gigahertz, which is 2.4 billion hertz. at quite a high power, and it needs water in whatever's in it to heat it up. Yeah, so you don't put yourself in there, do you? Because it's not a good idea.
Right.
So why, and this is why substances heat up in a microwave only if they have water. So your plate will be okay, but, you know, whatever you've got on the plate will heat up. Now, that's 2.4 gigahertz. The radiation coming, and we're all told, do not stand in front of that. Do not stand. I have never known a microwave oven to not leak.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, the radiation coming from your mobile phone is 2.4 gigahertz, the same as a microwave. Okay.
Wow.
However, less power. People go, oh, but it's less power, you know. Yeah, mate, it's less power, but it's not the power that's the internet. It's the frequency.
Yeah.
So we're now putting our bodies in very close distance to these things. And guys, you got to remember, when I worked in ICU, because, you know, I lost my jobs, but I didn't lose my knowledge.
Yeah.
Right.
When people are in ICU, they're a bit sick, just a tad, okay? No one goes to intensive care for a freaking holiday, mate. Not even the nurses. So when they're in ICU, their body's in what we call sympathetic overdrive, okay? Fight, flight, fright. They are really sick. Blood flow is diverted to the most important organs because they are critically ill and their body's under stress. And it's our job to try and keep them alive until their body calms the farm. Yeah? Now, when your body's in sympathetic overdrive, it's like, and I've likened this to like seeing a spider in the car, you know? It's just the same. It's freaking life-threatening. And you've got to think, is that spider on the inside or the outside of that car? And when you hit the windscreen wipers and it doesn't move, you know you're in deep shit, right? So your heart rate flies up, your pupils dilate, you are on alert because this freaking spider's on the inside of the car and you're thinking, Jesus, where's that bugger going? Okay. And where's the family?
Yeah.
So you know that you have to stop the car immediately. Doesn't matter where you are, right? It's important. People don't understand. Doesn't matter if you're on the freeway, we've got to stop. You've got to get out and you've got to find it, get a can of something and spray the whole thing in and kill it. And then worry about the family. Now, listen, this is life-threatening for me. My heart rate's gone up. Blood flow's been diverted from all of my non-vital organs. That's my kidneys and my gut and my skin.
Yep.
Not important when you're fighting for your life. The same in intensive care.
Yep.
Now, you think about that. That should be short-lived, yeah? It's not right to feel like you're always fighting for your life, all of your life, because your body doesn't get a chance to rest and digest. Get that? Rest and digest. So until you can rest and digest, you're not really going to absorb that wonderful diet you're on. You're not really going to get a great blood flow to your gut. And if that's prolonged, you're going to get gut issues, Dale. We used to see this all the time in ICU. People would go into renal failure and get gut issues because their heart and their brain and their lungs and their muscles took priority. Now, this is the same when you're exposed to foreign electromagnetic fields. Your body's never seen this before. It doesn't know what this 2.4 gig is. Remember, we grew up in nature with direct current, not alternating current. The body needs time to adjust, but we are escalating in our sophistication and all of our civilization and our so-called intelligence. And we're introducing more and more and more and more. Now it's 5G, 6G. So the body's not getting any time to adjust. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And all the body's feeling is it's under attack. Mate, what's coming next? What the frick is that? What's this? What's this? What's this? And because of that, it's wearing us out.
Yeah.
We're fatigued. We're tired. We can't sleep. My bloody nursing students used to have that freaking phone under the pillow when they're at sleep. Hello.
Wow.
Your brain only detoxes at night. Get that shit out of your room. Turn it off. So we just need to think a bit cleverer. And also, we need to think about technologies frequency-wise that heal and seal the gut. Because if your gut is broken because due to stress, you've cut off circulation for so long period of time, everything you eat literally causes an inflammatory response. So people have got these rashes on their skin, yeah? A rash on your skin tells you something's going on inside, babe. Your body's trying to tell you, don't put cortisone cream on, please. Don't hide it. Yeah. This is all stuff I used to do in my nursing career. And to anyone out there who's listening, who's been harmed by our establishment, I sincerely and totally apologise. I'm in the process of undoing everything I thought I knew was right. And I sincerely apologise because I know you've probably been ignored, and I know you've probably been gaslit, and I know you've probably been treated like you're crazy. Can I tell you, you are so not. You're a hero. And I'm so sorry. We are the zeros. You are the heroes.
Yeah, wow. Well, so you mentioned the pregnancy blanket. So the Chinese government issued?
Yes, mate. And the women would be fined. They would be actually reprimanded if they were pregnant and were found not to be wearing the pregnancy blanket. The Chinese government knew the impact of electromagnetic fields. And when a family can only have one child, they want a child that's healthy. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, how many kids do you know, because I know a lot, because I'm scanning them all, who are unhealthy?
Yeah,
who have allergies, gut issues, behavioural issues, anxiety issues, depression. These young ones, exactly, Jodi, who are living small, who are being told by a system that they are broken.
Yeah.
You are not born broken. You are born freaking beautiful, mate.
Yeah.
You are perfect. Don't listen to that shit. But these little ones are on record for the first 7 years of their life. They're in alpha brain state. They're in record. So when mum and dad and people around them say, oh, he's got this or she's got that, they're taking on board your shit. It's really sad because parents don't mean that, but that's how they grew up too. And they are believing what the doctors say. Oh, he's got this, he's got that. And so this sick care system promotes people who are broken, who are forever reliant on going back. I don't want people to become reliant on me. I want them to become reliant on themselves and realise they have the answers, that they're not broken. So a lot of people are walking around believing they'll never be what's called normal. I tell you now, mate, I've never met a normal person in my life. Okay. Everyone's a bit screwed. Okay.
Yeah.
And we just need to realise, I'm not asking people to be alarmed. I'm just asking you to be aware, And when you're aware, you can take simple measures. They don't have to cost billions of dollars. But if the Chinese were issuing pregnancy blankets to their women, and if the CEOs in Silicon Valley are wearing these blankets to protect their organs when they're working in front of their computers, then I ask the question, well, why are they so important? And what do they know that we don't?
Yeah, I want one of those.
So what do they line them with? Like what are those and your scrubs? Where did you get your scrubs? What were they made of?
I got all of my stuff from it's a company that started in the UK. The guy's now in Switzerland due to electrosensitivity, EMF clothing. But there are companies in Australia as well. There's lots of companies. I know that this is international. But EMF clothing, LeBlanc, a lot of them are lined with silver, Annie.
Yeah, right.
And you've really got to look at, there's a lot of products out there, but you've got to look at how much silver they've got, because we use silver products in wound care that have 1 or 2% silver. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because silver is antimicrobial.
Yep.
But the silver that you require in this clothing needs to provide a certain amount of protection. And I always look at the quantity of silver. So the scrubs that I have 42% silver in them, which is quite high.
Right.
And this actually reflects or deflects any fields coming in, yes? So it's not a good idea to pop your mobile phone inside your bra, girls. Okay, get that out. So I like to get clothing that at least provides protection of, they often call decibels, so 40 to 50 decibels, because you'll see some products that might protect 20 decibels, and I often find that may not be enough. And it's all about how long are you going to be there. When I'm in ICU doing a 12-hour shift, I'm going to be, well, no longer now, but it's a long time. So I wanted the highest level of protection. like we say, some people will put alfoil in their hats, yeah? So, you know how the kids have the hats to go to school? Well, I'd be a big advocate for putting silver lining in the middle of those hats to protect their little brains because, of course, now they've got all of this Wi-Fi in schools. I'm hearing a lot of kids in classrooms coming home sick. Now, you've got 30 kids in a classroom with 30 laptops all on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
How's that working for them?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Take it out of the system, mate. Yeah. So, and parents are thinking, oh, is it a food? Is it, you know, it may not be a food, mate. It may be that they are reacting to this long exposure in class and the teachers are getting sick. The teachers aren't able to get pregnant. They're getting sick. They're getting cancers. And then the kids, when they come home, feel better. And mum and dad just say, oh, you just don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
Got me?
Yeah.
But when the kids go back to school, they get a phone call. Oh, Jane's got a headache, or she's, you know, she's come out in a rash. And the mother goes, oh my God, she's putting this on. Because, you know, being a mum or a dad is freaking hard. I'd sell them on eBay. Yeah. However, all right. However, okay, it's not easy. And they're starting to think, are you putting this on, mate, because you don't want to go to freaking school? All right. But you know what? We've got to start thinking that maybe these kids aren't doing that on purpose. They're actually getting multiple doses. You know, these schools, why is it in France, in other European countries that they've banned Wi-Fi in schools? Why is everything hardwired now? Why are schools starting to ban mobile phones? Why do you think? Okay, one, they distract the little shits because I had enough of that in my class. Okay. Why would a student in my class text the chick next to her when you can just talk to her? So get that crap off. Okay. You need to realise that these things are not to become slave drivers.
Yeah.
And in fact, what we've got now is, I think, a population of people who are so addicted to this technology that even getting off it is a hard deal.
Yep.
In Japan, they've got rehab centres for young kids who have to do a digital detox. My God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see this coming because they are addictive, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I did a thing last year, for the half of last year, where I put my phone in grayscale because the lights and all the things were overwhelming to me. And when I did that, I wasn't checking my phone as much because you don't get that buzz, that little hit of like, oh, there's a notification, or I feel my my fight, flight, or fright kick in when I get a certain email. Like if I read a headline of an email, I'm like, oh crap, I've forgotten something.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And this is the thing, that I realise when we're looking at these screens, it's not natural light. So the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is I actually don't look at any screen. I go straight outside and stand on grass and I look at the sky because, Mother Nature. And I actually look at the sky for at least several minutes to kickstart my pineal gland, pituitary gland, get my hormones going before I look at any screen. Because as soon as you look at your mobile phone, it tells your brain it's midday.
Wow.
Right.
And so what happens is you miss your morning hormones. And this is what the kids and the people of the world have to realise. You need those hormones, just saying. And it's really important that we might think we're clever, but we haven't evolved to the point where we can take on this technology and trick our circadian rhythm. So a lot of us are not sleeping well. We're reading this technology late at night. I'm a big fan of blue light blocking glasses because blue light's great for stimulation in the morning. Natural blue light in the sky is awesome because it's balanced by red in the sky. Yeah. But you don't get that from a computer screen. It's largely blue. So by the time afternoon comes, I'm putting on my blue light blocker glasses, which, don't make me look stunning, but I don't give a shit. And I'm doing that to actually protect my body from overstimulation. And also in the evening, so that I actually, we make our melatonin in the morning, guys, but we don't secrete it until the evening.
Wow.
So if I'm still looking at a phone or an iPad at, say, 11 at night without any protective screens or anything on it, then my brain thinks it's midday. And then I'm trying to go to sleep and my brain's going, what are you doing, mate?
Yeah.
It's midday.
Yeah.
So we need just to be a bit clever about that. Put on your blue light blockers and you'll actually start to feel tired. Turn that crap off. Best to pick up a hard copy book. Put your phone in airplane mode. Your alarms can work that way. Better still, get a battery-powered alarm clock. Don't ever charge your mobile phone in your bedroom. Your bedroom has to be a sanctuary. Whenever I go and do an EMF assessment, I always go to the bedroom first because that's where you recharge and you are supposed to regenerate.
Yeah.
And so many people have, Google, turn on the lights or do this or do that, or they've got their freaking Wi-Fi system in there. They've got their bedrooms become an office. They've got their mobile phone. They've got their TV. And I just say, well, I'm really sorry, but all of that shit has to go.
Yeah.
If you want to get better.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about then your, your frequency medicine. Is it bioresonance you use?
Bioresonance, mate. Yep. And it's really exciting because it's not yet reached prime time in Australia. I'm not sure about the States, but I know it's reached big prime time in countries that like Russia, Germany, and others that seem to be embracing this technology more. Now, the technology I have is based on Tesla, but also a fellow called Royal Raymond Rife, R-I-F-E. And this gentleman actually was a doctor who also started looking into the effects of frequencies in the 1930s and beyond. And he was pretty amazing. He developed this microscope with over 5,000 parts that was able to study these tiny little things that he thought they were viruses, and but that caused cancer. And he actually he developed a device that delivered frequency to those particular pathological or disease-causing cells. So they would, like an opera singer singing to a glass, the frequency of the glass, yes? If you sing loud enough and long enough and at the perfect frequency, you can shatter that glass and nothing else. And he started using this to shatter these so-called cancer cells. And in the 1930s, he actually cured, and this is all on YouTube, believe it or not, and he cured, I think it was 16 people eventually, initially 12, and then the other 4, a bit more treatment, of stage 4 cancer, which is considered to be terminal. And this was known in the medical establishment. There were doctors who lauded this and thought he was a genius. And it was basically he was, the cure for cancer. Here we have it. Royal Raymond Rife, what a champion. And so this actually was huge in the 1930s. I never knew about it. I never learned about it. But he came to disrepute, unfortunately, because he refused to sell his technology. I think he was worried it would fall into wrong hands. He also was driven to despair because he was constantly being harassed and challenged about it because it was considered woo-woo, crazy therapy. Because at that time there were a lot more vested interests in the pharmaceutical chemo. Let's not go there, but you all know it. So his lab was destroyed, and apparently all of his technology was stopped. But however, there were people around, not just Rife, responsible for this. And this has slowly made a comeback. It's really been interesting that this is now starting to become more widespread, and more people are starting to learn about frequency and Rife, because not all frequency harms. We are electromagnetic beings. Our bodies emit light. We have biophotons. Albert Fritz Popp, an amazing scientist, discovered this, that our DNA emits light. So we're all told in nursing that you have the nervous system and the endocrine system. Yeah.
Right.
We weren't told about being light beings. So we have to realize now that a lot of stuff that we learned may have been Some of it was right, but some of it was wrong.
Yeah.
If you want to cling on to that, that's fine, but I'm gone, mate, because I know what works. So I did the training. I went to Athens and I started to do this on my family and friends because everybody else thought I was a nutcase. And I also was wearing a device, a portable device in my scrubs to protect me from all of the crap I was being exposed to. So whilst all my colleagues were going down with illnesses, pneumonia and flus, I just kept going. And I thought, this is all right. I've been treating family members that haven't had a cold since 2015. Not even COVID. Hey, yeah.
Wow.
So when you know the frequency, every living thing has a frequency. Yeah. Royal Raymond Wright, what a genius. Yeah?
Yeah.
What a genius. He went painstakingly, not me, he and other champions have used and shared these frequencies. So I know the frequency of the lungs, I know the frequency of the brain, and I know that when we get sick, the frequency drops. And if this remains chronic, then your body starts to go into a state of disrepair because our body knows how to heal itself, but it needs the energy. It doesn't just need proteins, carbs, and fats. It actually needs the right electromagnetic environment in order for that to occur. So we love going on holidays to the beach, to the forest. Guess what you're doing, mate? You're recharging. Yeah? You're recharging electromagnetically. When COVID came, we all got locked inside. We didn't see the sun. We weren't connected. Caveman used to get up, stand on the earth, Mother Earth's negative, sun's positive, and recharge. They might not have eaten for 3 days because they had to go find the food. But the sun charged them, the earth charged them, the ocean recharges us.
Yeah.
So we need to realize we've become disconnected from Mother Earth and from nature. And now increasingly we're looking for cures in the synthetic realm. And we need to go back to the garden, go back to the herbs, go back to what the ancients knew.
Well, I love that analogy you use, Kez, where you talk about going far enough upstream, because even, the kidney issues, the adrenal fatigue, all this other stuff that, you would have seen out the eyeballs in ICU, they're all just symptoms. Sure, they might be given a diagnosis and a label, but they're actually all just symptoms of something that, you just got to get far enough upstream to sort out.
You're so right, Annie. And because I am not a paediatric nurse at all, would be in the worst career of my life. But can I say this? When I see, and I'm seeing more and more children, and I'm thinking maybe this is my punishment. No, it's not. I actually love these little flippers, believe it or not, because they are so wise. And I now realise part of my mission here, if you want to call it that, is to make them realise they are wise. And to let them realise you're not broken, my little one. You are going to freaking sort the shit out on this planet. And I need to keep you healthy because your autism, my sweetheart, is not you are not broken. It's a label. It's a terrible label. It's like you said, Annie, that doesn't define you. It's inflammation, my love. Your brain is inflamed. Yeah. So if we can sort out that inflammation, if we can sort out that, then you don't have to have that word ever come back to you again. All right.
Right.
And these diagnoses keep people small, not tall. And I don't want these young ones walking around thinking that they will never be anything. Your children should not die before your parents. And that's what's happening. Yeah. Something's wrong here, guys. And
Exactly.
I know a lot of parents and especially grandparents are onto this. They're very wise. They know something's wrong, but they are being ignored. And they're now walking away from the medical establishment. They're actually taking a leap of faith. And they're coming to good old Kez, this freaking ex-ICU nurse, who sits them down and really asks questions because This little flipper has a name, but very importantly, a story. They are like a mosaic of beautiful colors. And I need to put those colors together to see where they are low energetically. And that always involves me asking about where they live, what's in their bedroom, what's in their home, because you can't get someone better in a clinic and then they go back to the same shit show that got them sick. Yeah. Because I don't want these people having to rely on me forever. Because I tell you now, there's only so many times I can see an 8-year-old. So I need them to realize, hey, mate, and from the mums and dads to empower them, because those mums and dads, they know their stuff. All right. And for them to be empowered and you know what, say, you know what, you're right, Kerrie. I freaking do know. Yeah. Okay. And to get out of their heads back into their hearts. Stop giving your power to others, mate.
Yeah.
It's time. We've got to stand up now. We took that away from you, and I'm sincerely apologize. We are not the experts you are. You've been in your skin a lot longer than me.
Yeah.
I need to honor you that. And by doing that, that's why my assessments with these people take an hour and a half. Do you get that at a GP's clinic? At the doctor clinic?
No.
Yeah, I know. Go figure. Do you get touched? No. Go figure. If you're not assessing, you're only guessing.
That's right. I remember that one. That takes me back to the classroom.
And, you know, this is the thing. I think people really do appreciate, and people are now becoming far more astute. They appreciate it being cared for. And most of these people just need to talk. Yeah.
Right.
Because
exactly. They need somebody to listen. They need someone to listen to them.
Exactly. They need to talk and listen. And, you know, Jodi, that's the thing. The important thing is taking that in and remembering it, not fobbing it off. So the next time I see them, I ask them, hey, how'd you go with that? And they know that you heard them. Yeah.
Right.
And now I can develop, because I need to raise their frequency. Yeah. I need to get them to have faith in me. Come up to me, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then let's resonate. Yeah.
Right. It's so important to be in person with that person so you can physically resonate with them.
Absolutely, mate. We all know a person that we don't with. It's not good or bad. It's just like a different radio station. They're static. And I need them to trust me. And in order to trust me, I need to earn their respect.
Yeah.
And I do that by listening, truly listening, and by remembering who they are in their story, because they're so important. I need them more than they need me. And when we're both resonating, my God, now we're on a powerful healing journey now. And their mums and them and I, it's freaking awesome. And then once they're right in the zone, see you later, mate. Yeah. You got it. You're riding your own spaceship. Come and see me to say good day.
Yeah, that's right. The aim is not to have any return customers, right? Exactly. We don't want return customers. We want people to
the aim is to not make people dependent on me or one person ever again. Of course they can come back and see me for a checkup, for a touch base. Let's see how your frequencies are going. However, I don't want them seeing me as the oracle. I am not here to save you, my love. Yeah.
Well, we're all miracles. Our bodies are miracles, but because of all the toxins and everything they've been, throwing at us, our bodies aren't operating at full capacity to be able to heal ourselves like we should.
You're so right, Jodi. And this is the thing. So many people come in so depleted, and they'll come in thinking, oh, look, my issue is this. But when I scan them, their body never lies. The frequency of your body never lies. And they are stunned at what I find. I had a lady come in and she said, oh, my issue is my head. And I thought, well, I can see that. But anyway, I said to her, all right, can I just scan you anyway? She goes, just scan my head. And I said, no, darling, if I'm not assessing, I'm only guessing. So you either walk or we do the whole scan, okay? And her issue was her lungs.
Wow.
So your body tells me the priority, because toxins accumulate in layers like an onion.
Yeah.
So the more toxin, and your body stores them wherever it can, as we know, to try, because it doesn't know what to do with them.
Right.
And so this is why a lot of people find it difficult to lose weight, because your body's scared to lose that weight because it's full of crap and you might get sick. Yeah. And
Right.
this is physical. This is emotional as well. Yeah. There's a lot of emotional and spiritual. And if the body thinks it's unsafe to lose that weight, where it's storing a lot of toxins, because a lot of our toxins are stored in fat.
Yep.
You're not going to lose weight, babe. Doesn't matter how much freaking exercise and bloody whatever you do, because your body's going to say, no, mate, if I put all that crap into you, we're going to get sick. No, thanks.
Yeah.
So we've just got to start thinking, why is my body not moving on this? Yeah. And we all think it might be one thing. And people, like I said, are stunned. And I said, honey, your lungs are so full of crap. And I did say it like that because, you know, what you see is what you get with Kez. However, you know, remember this, okay? Please remember this. I said it to you earlier. When your body's in fight, flight, and fright, the organs of priority are the lungs, the heart, the brain, and the muscles. Yeah? So when your lungs are sick, they are priority. They're going to take energy from anywhere else in your body to survive.
Yeah.
So you might be thinking you're getting headaches because it's your head. Yeah? But actual fact, like you said, Annie, that's downstream, babe.
Yeah.
It's your respiratory system or your heart or something else of priority according to your body, that you don't even know about, that is taking the energy to survive because it needs it, and it's deemed your intestinal tract, because everybody's GI system is buggered. And they all think it's my digestive system, Kez. It's my digestive system. It's just my digestive system. Or it's my skin. This rash is this eczema is my skin. No, it's not, mate.
No.
Your body's trying to excrete crap. Eczema is your body trying to excrete toxins.
Right.
Psoriasis is your body trying to excrete toxins.
Yeah.
So when I do my scan, that's why I'm a little bit, the first time I meet people is I have to do a proper assessment, or what's the point?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pissing in the wind.
Yeah.
I want to know this person properly. Otherwise, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
So I need someone to take responsibility for their health, and so they need to be prepared to take that journey.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what devices do you use? Do you use a Rife machine?
Yeah, they're all based on Rife technology, Jodi. So I have the first machine I got is called Dita Alice. It came from Russia with Russian instructions, which really didn't help me. It didn't help me much, mate. But anyway, it was awesome. The Russians have had to translate all of this into English because no one wanted them.
Wow.
And so I also have an Oberon, Oberon, which has graphics. And I like that because the clients see the graphics, the software graphics, which can show them visually, because people need to see. I need them to see what I'm doing so they know I'm not crapping on, They need to understand, because this is a partnership here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's partnership. So I need them to understand. So the Oberon is fantastic, and I can make homeopathics on that, and I can also destroy. And when I say destroy, I talk about pathogens. We need to be careful when we're doing this, because people think, oh, my God, I'll buy one of these and I'll just go killing everything in me. Don't be a dickhead. Okay. So parasites can hold up to 100 to 200 bacteria and so-called viruses.
Yeah.
If you believe in that. And when you go killing parasites and releases all of these, you can set up yourself for a real whole heap of pain if your liver and kidneys are. Yeah, Herxheimer's, Jodi. Yeah, it's awful.
It's awful. I've done so many parasite cleanses, and then I wasn't doing the next step. And I was like, and when I started doing that, I went down for the count. It was terrible.
Oh yeah, mate, totally. I did the same. I got it. I thought I was so clever. Let's go killing those parasites, not realizing. And then my GP rang me and said, "What's happened to your liver?" Because I got so sick, I turned yellow, and I couldn't tell him because I didn't want him to know. And he goes, "What have you done?" I said, "Nothing." And then he goes, "Kerrie, your liver function tests are right through the roof." And I go, "Just settle down." I told him, just because we had that relationship, settle down, Errol. And he goes, "You bloody critical care nurses." I said, "Just shut up, hang on a minute." And I got off and I rang my mate and I said, "Hey, mate, Moores," who I did the training in Athens with, "what happens with parasites when you kill them?" And she goes, "Which one?" And I said, which one? I did all of them. And she said, Kez, you've overloaded your liver, doll. And I said, right, that's it, no worries. So I figured that was called research.
Yeah.
And the only person I'd ever do that again on is my ex-husband. But otherwise, no one else. So, as I say, if you're not assessing, you're only guessing. So I like to know the status, and this is where the medical knowledge comes in. What's their liver like? What's their kidneys like? What's their skin like? Yeah, these are organs of excretion. Yeah. So if you're going to do cleansers and killing off stuff, they have to have a healthy liver. They have to have healthy kidneys. They have to have, infrared saunas. They have to be able to sweat, because if you don't get that stuff out, it's going to recirculate, as you found out, Jodi, and as I found out, and it does make you feel really sick, and it can take people down really bad.
Yeah,
it's to be respected. So I have to be very gentle on people with renal failure. I have to be very gentle on people with any sort of liver condition, and I have to think outside the square and say, okay, baby, we've got to use another organ for excretion. I need you to get in the infrared sauna. I need you to sweat. Yeah. I need you to do another way. Yeah. I prefer them to be on medication. If they have to be on any sort of supplements, because remember, we are human. And if you're depleted, no amount of electromagnetic energy is going to help you if you've got no natural substances to build. I prefer them to be sublingual, under the tongue, or topical. So it's avoiding the gastrointestinal tract, because your gastrointestinal tract, these people come to me and these beautiful naturopaths have ordered, prescribed $300 worth of supplements they're taking orally. And it's not getting absorbed, mate. We saw this in intensive care, because their gut is so inflamed and has such a poor blood circulation. It's not moving from the gut into the blood to get to the tissues where it's needed, It's all going in the toilet. So until we can heal and seal their gut, I'm a big fan of bone broths, etc.
Me too.
Until we can heal and seal the gut, it's difficult to know how much they're absorbing. And so therefore I like to try a bed like intravenous, if you've got access to that, an alternative route for administration, so people can get some substance so that they can make and regenerate with this electromagnetic therapy. Otherwise, I just find it's difficult.
Yeah. Well, it's a good point you make too there, Kez, because, we've talked at length about all the harmful effects of too much negative frequencies. So same can be said for too much positive frequencies, you've
got to realise our bodies are born to do the job, babe.
Yeah.
So like when I'm using my portable devices, I usually use 6 days on, 1 day off, because I don't want my body to forget how to drain and how to detox. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything. The dose makes the poison. Yeah. So think cleverly. You don't want to become so reliant on something. I don't go killing off microbes every day. That's too much, too overwhelming. And people often think, oh, more is better. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Your body actually responds. It's minute. This is why homeopathics are so amazing. This energy, the body is so sensitive. So we need to realize that more is not necessarily better. And in actual fact, and this is where people have done damage with these Rife machines, because they've gone killing off things without realizing or even assessing a person's underlying condition.
Yeah.
And I think you need to know this person better than that. They deserve better than that. Yeah. So when they contact me, I always stay in contact. They go, Kez, I'm getting headaches. I'm getting this. And I'll say, it's a detox reaction, babe. You need to drink more. Yeah. I want you to sweat more. Are you weeing? Are you pooing? Are you making sure you are pooing? Because if not, it's recirculating, hon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if we have to stop whatever we're doing, because I need to find out. Yeah. It's not a set and forget. Does that make sense? Every individual is a unique, beautiful electromagnetic being. Yeah. And I need to honor that. So I need to listen to them and not fob them off.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's important too. What I'm getting from you is like in dealing with your clients is taking the step back and not being so myopic and focused on one little thing, which is what, you know, Western medicine has taught us to do, right? They focus on this thing. You got the gastroenterologists, you got the cardiologists, and all the other specialists.
You're right, mate. I in ICU always dealing with the respiratory docs, the cardiac docs, the orthopedic, and no one talked to each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hang on, mate. So the lung docs want me to, give this fluid, and the kidney docs want me to give this fluid, but they're polar opposite. So hang on, could you guys talk to each other, please?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't. You do that. No, I'm not doing that, mate. Okay, unless you got a direct line to Jesus, you both need to talk to each other. Yeah. Okay. My crystal ball's freaking cloudy, so I want you guys to talk to each other and sort this shit out, because I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be a mentor for this person who's currently on life support and actually cannot speak for themselves. So I'm here to speak. Don't piss with them. And this is the conversations I used to have time and time again, that we were so fractured. We are, perfect word, Annie, myopic. We're all focused on the pixels, not the big picture. And nurses have gone that way, mate. Cardiac nurses. Oh, we don't deal with anything under the chest. Yes, you do, guys. Come on.
It's all connected.
Hey?
It's all connected. Like,
this is the thing. And that's unfortunately what I taught for a long period of time was this system, and this drug for this system. And, a big piece of humble pie, I need to realize I actually was doing the wrong thing. I thought it was right, but it's a wrong thing. And the best thing ever I did was to look in the mirror and say, mate, time to learn the right way of doing it. And all those people who'd been maligned, all of the ancients, all of the Chinese medicine, all of those wonderful naturopaths, the healers, especially the electromagnetic, the real healers of their time, the witches that were burned at the stake, the midwives, the inquisitions, all these amazing energy healers, women and men who were maimed, tortured. I honor you all. Yeah, I honor you all. This is our time now to stand and to shed our skin of what we thought was right to create now a new tree of life.
Yeah,
and that allows us, to come together, create our villages, create our community. And this is where no one is the beacon, where we all share our amazing skills and knowledge. Everyone.
Yeah.
So good, Kez. So you've mentioned a couple of practical things that people can do, some, involving purchases, but what do you recommend to your clients when, that they've living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford, like silver line clothing and,
mate, totally. Look, babe, I was going, having been out of work for a year, I totally knew that feeling too. Yeah. And my job is not to make billions of dollars. There's enough very interesting elite people doing that. But anyway, my job is to help people heal themselves. Yes, I have to pay a mortgage, but I say to people, turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Yeah. So your brain can detox. Get your phone charger out of your bedroom. Try not to look at screens 1 or 2 hours before bedtime.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, once you've had your wee or whatever, don't look at any screen. Go outside. Look at the sky, for a few minutes. If you can't ground on grass, that's okay. Just look at the sky. Guess what? That's free.
Yeah.
The sun doesn't charge at this point in time, okay?
Right.
So these are simple things. I love going to the ocean. Stand in the ocean. Just stand with your feet in the ocean, the sand. My God, mate, do you know how much? We are living batteries. Yeah. We need those electrons. We need that energy. It's all coming there for you. You're basically recharging your battery.
Yeah.
I say to people, just try to use your phone for texting. Never hold it up against your head. Try not to use your phone in your car. Your car is a metal box, and the phone has to work harder to get out of there. So you're exposing yourself to more electromagnetic fields. Right. Do not sleep with your phone under your pillow. Try to hardwire your computer. an Ethernet cable which connects from your modem to your computer. So all of the radiation is in the cord, not in the air. Wi-Fi.
Oh wow!
Don't use. Yeah, does that make sense? Don't use a wireless mouse. Use a wired mouse. Yeah. So try to avoid wireless if you can. I know it's not.
Well, I use wired headsets. I don't use the Bluetooth anymore because I know that's very dangerous.
And well done. And are they wired so that they've got the air in them? Do you know what I'm saying? EMF safety headsets. So what I'm going to do is, I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send. I'll send you guys a resources for where you can get this stuff if you like.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, thanks. I'll stick it in the show.
But also, the headphones I use, Jodi, are actually EMF safe earphones because a lot of us think that those earphones are safe.
Right.
In actual fact, they're not because whatever's coming from the So you need EMF safe ones, and you can get those. You can buy those, and I would recommend those. So I like people to use their phone in speaker mode. I actually have a Faraday bag, and I know this is a podcast, isn't it? So it's not going to be but and I tend to hold my phone in that.
No, you can show it because it's a video, so they'll see the video.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I tend to hold my phone.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And what brand of your Faraday sleeve or whatever that is that?
This is LeBlock, LEBLOK. So the inner part of this is silver lined.
Right.
Oh wow. Yeah, I have one that's real hard to get in and out of. I'm like, it's.
So I actually just put it in there like that and fold it over.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it doesn't ring or anything.
Yeah, I can still get messages. It still rings, but it also means I can't be tracked.
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
And if I have to use it, because I may have to speak to somebody, I always hold it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a great idea. And I usually do speakerphone. That's what I usually do when I talk to somebody. And I also noticed I have a tendency to, my jacket is my purse. I hate purses. So I'll put my phone and, my little wallet in this pocket and my phone in this pocket. And I have terrible issues with my left hip and my whole leg down to my foot on my left side. And I was like going, that's right where the phone hits me. And
what do you reckon, sister?
Yeah. Hello. So, I mean, I had an issue because I fell there and injured, but it's, I think that's what's making it worse, and I'm such a creature of habit, but to have, to put it in, a sleeve like that, would probably protect, my hip.
Absolutely. Sometimes, and people have to have these things on them, don't they? A lot of people try and wrap them in alfoil. I wouldn't recommend that because the phone overheats. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are called Faraday bags, and I will send you the link. So I've got no affiliation. They're Faraday bags.
You can. We don't care if you do. That's fine. No worries. Yeah.
You can. I've been using this for a long time because when I started seeing clients with cancer on the side, they were holding their phone. I thought, oh God. So, and there's one thing to find the problem, but it's also if you're going to say, oh, this doesn't work, well, hey mate, find the solution.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So I have recommended my clients to all hold their phones per se, and that actually not completely, but it does block a lot of the radiation coming up into their body because you're shielding your hand, which contains water.
Yes.
Right.
And shielding your body. And then if they have to have it in their handbag or whatever, put it in here.
Yeah.
Yep. So that reduces the radio frequency markedly, Jodi. And you know what, mate? It's interesting you say that. I had a fella come in whose left hip was always sore, and he used to always have his phone in that pocket. And he got cancer in that left hip.
Wow.
And he said that the surgeon was stunned, apparently. He said, we never get it. And the surgeon, and he asked, could it be my phone? And said, don't be ridiculous. So, don't
and
ask
I've been
them.
doing that. Probably I've been carrying it in my left pocket, and it's the pocket that, you know, it's kind of like this jacket I was wearing when I lived in New York City. I wore that jacket every day, and my phone was right. It would hit my hip, and you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know. So I thought, well, why don't I stop doing that and see what happens?
You know what, mate? Sometimes, and that's the thing. We've all done it, babe. We've all done it.
Right.
Like in ICU, they used to give me the phone. You know, we had all of the people with all their cordless phones. These are cell towers. The only good place for a cordless phone is the bin. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when in ED and ICU when I worked, we were all walking around with our cordless, you know, talking. Okay. We were getting nurses getting multiple sclerosis, brain tumors, chronic fatigue, audio. Now, I'm not saying that's causation, but they were going down quickly.
Yeah.
And we were getting clusters of this happening, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? So they used to always give me this freaking thing in ICU, and I'd say, no, it's going on loudspeaker. And it caused an issue in, like, the staff thought I was crazy. And I really felt wrong about it. Nothing about it was good. If you look in your phones in the privacy and the safety section, you'll see that it recommends not having this phone on your body.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That means against your head, because that's on your body, unless you're like my ex-husband, and he didn't have a head, but he wasn't human. So you got to realize, okay, that also means for women getting their mobile phones and sticking in their bras. Now, listen, I'll tell you something for nothing, girls, because I love you. Breast cancer normally used to, in the upper outer quadrant of the breast. Now, we're getting breast cancer coming on the inner quadrant, right where the mobile phones are.
Wow.
Go figure.
So do a lot of women carry the phone in their bra?
Yeah,
I've seen a few.
It stops as of now.
Yeah, it needs to.
If you want to live.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to live long and die short. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right, babe. The guys who want to have healthy kids, probably not a good idea to have your mobile phone in your pocket, because your testes are you're destroying your sperm. You know, these are things I never thought about, in all honesty. And I have to tell you, like I keep saying, genetics loads a gun, the environment pulls the trigger. So we've got enough toxins. Now, I'm not asking you to all go live in a cave and you know, but what I'm saying is let's just be a bit clever about what we're doing. Try not to have that phone on your body, Jodi. Try and have it in a Faraday bag.
Right.
And, you know, let's just see how it works. I ask people, just take your phone out of your room and turn off all your Wi-Fi at night. Turn your phone off. See how you sleep. Give it a week. Yeah.
Right.
You know, and you can give it a go. I don't recommend people have a bedroom opposite a smart meter. Okay. These radiate 24/7. So these are things that none of us have thought about before, because no one considers the environment the person lives in.
Yeah.
Right.
So living in, you know, blocks, apartment blocks, etc., where you might have a bank of 20 or 30 smartphones, smart meters. How's that working?
That's where I live, and they're right outside my window down one floor, and they go all along the side of the building. Yeah.
Okay. So this is where, you know, you got to understand that you might take amazing measures for yourself.
Yeah, because I take them all the time.
Yeah. But those things don't stop emitting, because 24/7 they're going.
Exactly.
So then you might need to either move or try and shield. Okay.
Yeah.
And by shielding, because shielding should be a last resort, or clothing, etc. The best friend is distance.
Yeah.
But not everybody can move, can they?
Right. Well, I'll probably be moving this year later, you know, in a few months. Fingers crossed. So.
Well, you know what? It'd be interesting to see how you feel health-wise when you do, because I've heard stunning things from people when they've moved away from these apartments. Just their health seems to radically improve, because you're constantly under fight, flight, fright.
Right.
You've got no time to rest and digest and heal.
Right.
And that can really affect you emotionally, spiritually, mentally. People feel like they're going crazy. And it's actually, they're not going crazy. Their body just can't settle down.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. So how can people learn, like if they wanted to become certified and trained like you've been, you know, through Athens and stuff, would you recommend that process? How would they go about it?
I would certainly ask people, I have the Dita Ellis Oberon, and I've also got the Spooky 2 devices. Spooky 2 has a lot of stuff on YouTube that's free, etc. But I actually did my course, what's this? Da Vinci College of Holistic Medicine.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. Very cool.
And that was online, Da Vinci course of Holistic Medicine. I really enjoyed that. And that's when I realized, you know what, I got to learn more about this because this is just resonating with me. Yeah. And I'm glad I did that, because I think that even, people go, oh, you're a nurse, you don't need to know. Yes, I freaking do.
Yes, you do.
Need to be mindful. Yeah, I need to be mindful of the people I care for, and I have absolute respect for them. They're putting their faith in me. And so, you do need to educate yourself. That's a lifelong thing. So I really enjoyed it. And then I, like I said, went to Athens. I think now I'd like to start doing teaching this in Australia for people, so they don't have to go to freaking Athens, because, geez, mate, it takes a while.
And the manual in Russian, like.
yeah, exactly. And I think that people need a mentor. They need a cheerleader. They need someone next to them. So there's a beautiful kinesiologist that's about to buy a machine, and she's amazing. And she has said, Kez, and I said, yeah, mate, let's help each other. And that's what it's about. It's not about keeping it all to yourself, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's about, because when I'm gone, who's going to take over?
Yeah, that's right.
So we need to spread this knowledge. We need to share it. It doesn't belong to anyone. This has been around for ages. We didn't, we didn't create this knowledge. This has come through others who had the bravery to share. So my dream would be to have a school where, because I love and I miss education. That's the biggest thing I miss. That I can help others learn to be extraordinary through this therapy, and safe, where they can come, they can consult, they can say, Kez, what do you reckon? And I'll say, well, do this, babe, or try this, so that everyone feels safe and supported and not alone, because that's the most dangerous thing, is that people often feel alone in this world, and we've got to stop that crap, because we're not.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people want to learn. You don't have to be a nurse or a doctor. You just have to be, hopefully, a human being.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. You have to be curious.
Yeah. You have to be curious, and also open enough to take on this information openly. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Without saying, oh, no, I didn't learn that in my university. Well, mate, you're not for me. See you later.
So do you do, if people, I know that we do have an international show, but if people wanted to book a session with you, do you do them remotely, or is it only in person?
I like to see them.
I know we talked about that.
Yeah, mate, I certainly can talk with people remotely, not a problem, but I do like face-to-face because of the frequency.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're with someone,
nothing beats face-to-face.
So when I can pick up on their frequency the moment I meet them.
Yeah.
It's hard over a screen.
Yeah.
So I really like to see them face to face. And I'm based in Torquay at a shop called Elixir. And I work with a herbalist naturopath there called Donna, who's just a freaking legend. And so when I have patients who are really depleted, I know that homeopaths might not be enough. I'll take them out to Donna. She checks them out, and I'll say, what herbs can we help this person with? Yeah. And we test them on my machine, and I can see with the patient, or the client, to see if they're weakening them or strengthening them. Yeah. Guess what? That's called individualized care.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah? That's called individualized care. And if that's helping them, we're on a winner, mate. I want you on that, baby, and I want you on this. Come back. Yeah. And I really, a lot of people say, oh, you need to have this therapy 3 times a week. Like you said, Annie, people can't afford it.
No.
So I say to them, come back to me in 3 weeks if you can, or 4 weeks if you can. Have some time. I give them the homeopath. They might have herbs from Donna, and liaise with me via text if you've got any issues. So that's basically what I do. At the moment, 3 days a week, because I'm currently studying another course, which I cannot wait to finish.
I bet.
Mm-hmm. I'm too old for this shit, mate.
Well, just at least the the institutionalized form of the stress, the study, the exams and essays, and it's almost like pump and dump that form of education.
Yeah, mate. And that's not how I'm going to teach, because I'd never done that. Well, I've had to in the system, but when it's my design, it's Kez, it's a collaborative effort. There's no me teacher, you student crap. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so let me know when you open Kez Legend Institute of Education, Frequency Medicine.
Do you reckon anybody be interested, Annie?
Sign up. Yeah, I'll do it.
And I've been thinking of doing it online as well, because I know that there may be people who listen to this or resonated with this and thought, you know what? She is a legend. I'm a legend. Legends need to get together.
Let's resonate. Let's do it. I love it.
And there's a lot of people practicing bioresonance around the world, and so it's great that we need to liaise. We need to do this because we are the future. Believe it or not, we're actually the present.
Yes.
We are at a critical time now, people. I can't say this more. I can't stress this any higher. And so I need you.
Yeah.
I need you all to come on board, please. Support, believe.
Yeah.
Surrender what you thought you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like we've talked of, about frequencies and connectedness and all that sort of stuff on a non-woo-woo level, the importance of having a network of like-minded individuals where you can rub shoulders against.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mate. Just the other day, last week, a woman came in and she looked at me and she just wanted a hug. And she didn't let go. Yeah. Now that's an energy exchange.
Yeah.
And I could see how depleted she was, and yet I had the energy to give her that. Yeah. And so this is what we need to realize, that when you take people away and separate them, it depletes them.
Yep.
So we need to find each other, and we do. We need to liaise with each other and know that we're not crazy and that we need to support each other, because we're, as you know, Annie and Jodi, we're under attack by people who don't want this stuff out. They are trying everything they can, and that's what they do. First, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they attack you, then you win.
Yeah.
So you know what? Stuff that, mate. No way am I living on my knees. I'm here to stand tall. So bring it on, bitches.
Yeah. Exactly. I love it. Jodi, did you have any more questions for Kez?
No, I don't think so. I feel like we're gonna have a series with Kez.
Yeah, would you like to come back, mate?
Well, if anybody well, it depends what your listeners think, mate. They might all say that was a load of crap.
Oh no, they're gonna love it.
Pretty good.
Love it. Yeah.
Hey, listen, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to share and care, and I'm looking for my tribe. Yeah. And I'm talking to them right now. And I know, Annie, I've always respected you, babe.
Thanks, mate.
You're a legend yourself, sweet. And Jodi, I can tell right away, babe, you're going to get so much better when you move out.
I know. I mean, I've known that for a while. I've just, senses prevented anything. So.
And look, I'm happy to send, like I said, any information if I have and if I've got some sort of email address or somewhere to send it safely. Anything any people request, I will try and get to you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, I'll stick what is most important, what you think for most people, so I can stick them in the show notes when I upload the video, and that'd be great.
And they can contact me if they like on my Proton Mail account.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Are you happy for us to put that up?
Yeah, babe, no worries. And just as long as they write Kez Legend.
Yeah, and where they came across you. So if they mention the
if they can, that'd be great, because I am mindful of that, and I want to share knowledge with people who actually won't waste my time. Yeah, because we've got to be mindful of that, guys. There are people who will, and there's only so much we can provide. Yeah. I really want to help people who want to help themselves, and I'm no longer interested in people who want to be saved, because that's not what I'm here for, and that's not what they're there for.
Yeah. Right. Spot on, Kez. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us, for sharing your wisdom, and oh man, I've missed it. It was like being back in the classroom, but 10 times better. So great.
Well, I hope I haven't overwhelmed too many people, and hey, great to meet you, Jodi. Awesome to meet you again, Annie. I think we'll be working together at least some stage, buddy.
Yeah,
I think so too.
But, you know, may the frickin' frequency be with you.
Thank you. And you. Love you heaps, mate.
See you guys. Bye.
See you. Bye. Awesome. So that was really great,
awesome.
Jodi. We're going to have her back for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll start our series on frequency medicine and quantum physics, or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Exactly.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
So any questions you have, stick them in the comments below. You'll find the replays of this on Spotify, on Odyssey, on the Life Force Network, on YouTube. Any questions, email us. You can visit our Telegram groups, our Facebook group. I love what she said. Until next time, the frequency be with you.
Exactly.
Well, thanks, Jodi, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.